All right. So we've all been there, right? And I wanted to kind of take you to one of those cliche moments I think they do it in like medical school and law school, right? The whoever's doing the orientation says, look to your right and look to your left. And one of those people or two of those people won't be here in 4 years, whatever. And they say that not to scare people off, not because, they want everybody to freak out, but I think what they're trying to do is tell people that you want to be the one that's still here, right? Like if you've ever been in that situation, I know I have, I look to the right and I look to the left and I'm like, I'm going to still be here. They might not still be here, but I'm going to still be here. And kind of what I am hoping to do tonight with this call, not in a way to scare anyone. If you're a new coach, I hope this doesn't freak you out, but I feel like mindset is half the battle. And if you come into coaching or you're in the middle of your coaching career and you have the mindset that this is going to take a little bit of grit, right? This is going to take a little bit of determination. I'm going to have to be tough. I'm going to have to be have thick skin to succeed in this business. And I think if you come into it with that mindset, you are going to be so much more likely to succeed. So that's what this call is all about. What do you do when it's all too much? What do you do when you feel like, I don't know if I can give anymore. I don't know if I can do anymore, because that's going to come. It may come your very first day as a coach. You may sign up and be like, what have I gotten myself into? This is too much. This is too much. This is too much. Or you may just do fine. And maybe a year in, you're just hit with something in your life happens. We're all going to come to that point where you're going to feel like this is too much. So just expect it. It's normal. If you've had those thoughts, that doesn't mean coaching is not for you. I can guarantee you, every single coach has had those thoughts. Every single coach has wondered if this is too much at one point or another. So you're in good company. We're all in this together. And I wanted to break down, I kind of came up with 4 different reasons why you may be feeling like this is all too much. So the very first reason is the person who doesn't have vision. And the person who says, this is all too much, this is crazy, they actually want me to invite 3 people a day? What? Like, this is too much. This is requiring too much. I have to take a Thursday night and sit in my yoga pants on my couch and listen to a call for an hour? What? This is crazy. This is too much. That's the person who doesn't have vision. I just used this analogy with my team not too long ago, so if you're on my team, I apologize. But think of Beachbody coaching as if you're going to university. Let's say that I told you, if you go to university for 4 years, you can graduate and start at 6 figures. Your starting salary of your job is going to be 6 figures. I think almost all of us would be like, yeah, sign me up. Like, that sounds good. But if you don't show up to class, if you don't read your textbook, and if you don't do your assignments, are you going to graduate? Are you going to graduate? No. You're going to fail if you don't show up to class, if you don't hand in any assignments or read any textbooks, it's not just going to fall in your lap. It's the same with Beachbody coaching. It's not that it requires too much. It's that your mindset going into it isn't the same as you would going into anything else, right? So if you don't show up to class, if you don't show up to team calls, if you don't read your textbook, if you don't read personal development, and if you don't do your assignments, if you don't work out and do your invites, no, this is not going to work out for you. But if you have a vision of like, hey, I'm going to just put in my time, I'm going to show up, I'm just going to do the simple things that I'm called to do, because I can guarantee you sending out 3 invites is way easier than doing calculus. Totally. So if you just show up and put in the work, Why not? Why not graduate in 4 years as a Beachbody coach? Maybe some people will say 4 years is crazy long. I don't think so. To be making 6 figures or more, I don't think so. I think if you compare that to anything else in the entire world, that is ridiculous, unbelievable. So if you see Beachbody coaching with that kind of vision that can get you out of massive debt, vision that can be a full-time income for you, vision that can provide a lifestyle for you that you cannot even imagine, with being present with family, being present with your pets, being present with your kids, and still earning income that would provide like above and beyond what you might need. To me, if you have that vision, then it's not crazy to sit in your yoga pants and listen to a training for 1 hour on a Thursday night. It's not crazy to read personal development for 10 minutes of your day. How much is 10 minutes of your day to spend? I mean, I can guarantee you if you go to school, you're going to have to spend a lot more than that reading your textbooks. But if you invest in personal development for 10 minutes a day, if you send out your 3 invites a day, I mean, if you've got that vision, then it's not too much. It's not crazy. It's just work. It's just work. It's just the work that coaching takes. So I don't think that's most of you guys here. But if you are feeling a little bit like this is too much, this is crazy, I encourage you to go back to the basics and get that vision. Yesterday, my husband gave me 3 hours to work. It was like amazing. I went and I spent most of that time working away, but I took the very last 15 minutes of my time. I sat outside on a park bench overlooking a beautiful lake right by my house, and I just envisioned our life. I envisioned what I'm working for. I took the time to just imagine what it would feel like, what it would look like, what it would be like, what we would be able to do. Like, that is super important to any entrepreneur. That's super important to anyone. If we're going back to the analogy of school, you know, people who are in school, they think about, okay, when I'm a doctor or when I'm a teacher or when I'm whatever, that's what they're working towards. And they keep that in their mind's eye. When it's 2 o'clock in the morning, they're pulling an all-nighter because they've got to turn in this paper because they want to graduate. They want that job. They want that life. You've got to see it first before you can start working towards it, before you can start making it happen. So if you're having trouble, if you're feeling like this is too much work, this is crazy, you know, personal development and workouts and doing my invites, this is too much, get that vision. Take the time, write it out. On one of our retreats, Becca encouraged us to just close our eyes and literally just imagine, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? How does it feel? Take some time, you know, dig deep, figure out what it is that just makes your heart explode to think about if that could be your life. And when you've got that vision, it's not too much. It turns into a joy and not a drain to do the small tasks of coaching. So if that's you, dig into your vision. I don't think that's most of you. Most of you have that vision. Most of you, that's why you're here tonight, because you know that what you're working for. And you know that sitting in your yoga pants for an hour watching a webinar is like such little work. So let's go on to number 2. If you feel like this is too much because you're doing too much. And this is for those of you who feel like, okay, oh my gosh, I have to keep up with my challengers, and I've got to get a blog started, and I've got to do my Instagram, and I've got to do my trainings, and I've got to do my posts, and I've got to do my invites on top of all my life and all the normal stuff that I have to do. This is too much, this is too much, this is too much. Okay, so let me talk to 2 different people who are feeling that way. First, to the new coach. If you're a brand new coach or a semi-new coach, yes, it does feel that way at first. Imagine, okay, it's not always going to be that way though. So imagine that an alien comes to Earth and they're trying to be a human, okay? They know nothing of being human. They've never been a human before. They've never been on Earth before. So they wake up in the morning and they think, okay, crap, I just woke up. what am I supposed to do now? Okay. Oh, brush my teeth. Okay. What do I need to brush my teeth? A toothbrush. Okay. And what do I do with this toothbrush? Okay. Put toothpaste. So every single activity they have to think through, and it's so hard, and it takes so much mental energy, and they're trying to figure out, okay, now do I put the water first or the toothpaste first, and then how do I brush it? And when you're a new coach, that's kind of how it is. You're like, okay, I've got to do invites. Okay, how do I even know who to invite? How do I know what to say to them? All of these things. And your coach should have trainings for you. I know I have trainings for my team on how to just quickly make lists, how to have scripts, things like that do make it easier. But understand that just like when you and I wake up in the morning, we don't even think about brushing our teeth. We just get up, walk to the sink, grab the tooth. Like, you're not even thinking about it. It just becomes a habit. It's the same with coaching, and it's the same with the 3 vital behaviors. If you're a new coach and you're feeling that this is too much, my encouragement to you is, instead of pulling back and doing it less, push into it. Do it more. Do it every single day, because the more you do it, the faster it'll become mindless. You'll just sit down at your computer. You'll just log in and send out 3 invites like you were brushing your teeth. And everything you start at the beginning is going to take a lot of thought until it becomes a habit, until it becomes second nature. And that's how it is with the 3 vitals. That's how it is with your workouts and drinking your Shakeology. First couple of weeks, maybe you forget to drink it or whatever. After a while, you would never forget to drink your Shakeology. It's just like what you do. And so let that give you a little bit of hope, and let that encourage you to push in to establishing these habits. The more consistent you are doing them at the beginning, even though it feels like a lot, the quicker it'll just become second nature, like a habit for you. So now let me talk to a coach who's not a new coach and is feeling maybe a little bit overwhelmed that it's all too much. Even after things have become second nature, it still feels like a lot. Okay, here's what I encourage you to do. Pick your battles and play to your strengths. You don't have to be on every social media platform. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Now, I'm telling you this, having been one of those coaches who tried to do every single social media platform and thought, no, I can do it. I can make it work. I learned my lesson. I can't. You can't. There's just no way. Our minds can only focus on a certain number of things at a time. And so you need to pick your battles and choose and play to your strengths. Understand, if you've been doing this for a little while, understand where you're getting the most challengers from. What is bringing the most momentum to your business? Where are you seeing the best results? And then shut down all the rest and get a laser focus on those things. I know for me, it's my blog. Blogs are a lot of work, and they're not super fun, and they're not super flashy, and they're not, it's not the top thing that I want to be doing. But when I look at the data, that's the best area for me to put my focus on and to put my energies on. And so if you're a veteran coach, if you've been doing this for any amount of time, you should know, do your videos just get a ton of likes? Do your blog posts bring you a lot of new customers and new traffic? Where is it that you're seeing the best results? Is it when you post before and afters? Whatever it is, make a list of the top 2 things and put your laser focus on that, and let all the rest go off to the side. Let all the rest just let it go. There is no need for you to focus on 17 things all at the same time. Yeah, you're going to feel like it's too much. It is too much. But if you can play to your strengths, if you're a good verbal communicator, dude, hit up YouTube and live videos like nothing. And forget about the blog. Forget about it. You don't need it. And I think so often we can look at other successful coaches and be like, well, she has a blog, so that must be the way to success. But the truth is, the way to success is to play to your personal strengths. And the coach who was successful with the blog is because her strengths were in writing and blogging. So yeah, you can't cookie cutter someone else's success onto your life. You have to understand where you thrive and give that your laser focus. And really pick your battles. I mean, honestly, I love my challenge groups. I love them so much. And I think challenge groups should always be a priority for you. But I have scripts for my challenge groups. I don't come up with new content every single time. I know my strengths. My strengths are being spontaneous, but sometimes that can lead me to be unpredictable. And I know in my challenge groups, I need to be a rock. I need to show up every single day. So I have scripts in my challenge groups. And when I feel inspired, I hop in with a live video. And that's how I play to my strengths, is you have to know what you're good at and what you're not good at, and feel free to let it go while still keeping your business moving forward. You also need to learn to prioritize. So one thing that I do is I don't even know if I have it around here. No, I have a giant running list. It's like a front and back of a regular sheet of paper. So I have a giant running list of all the things I need to do. And this is everything, like everything you could possibly imagine. And I look at that list every morning and I write down my top 3 things. Like I just write number 1, number 2, number 3 by the 3 things that I feel like are the most important in my day that I need to accomplish. What's going to really move my business forward? Obviously the 3 vitals. I don't even put the 3 vitals on my to-do list because that's just going to happen regardless. These are other things beyond that. But for me, for example, if I have blogging on there and if I have, make a recognition for my team, make a recognition of their Success Club points, well, blogging's going to take precedence. My business has to take precedence, number 1, and then I work on other things after that. And so being able to prioritize is such an important skill that you need to have to not feel like it's too much. Because yeah, a front and back sheet of paper, that's too much. I can't accomplish that all in one day, but I can accomplish 3 things. I can accomplish, well, sometimes I can't even do that, but at least I know what my top 3 things are and I can prioritize them, and I can feel like at the end of the day, even if I only got 2 things right, I got the 2 most important things right in my day because I know what exactly I need to do to move my business forward. Guys, this is really important also, not only to prioritize what your to-do list is, but to prioritize in your life and in your timeline in general. So going back to the idea of Beachbody coaching being like going to school, if you've got a lot of other things going on in your life, just obviously family, that's non-negotiable. We can't move that from our life. But let's say that so my church is very important to me. We lead a small group in my church. That's something that I keep definitely in my focus list, but I also love to sing, and I've sung on my church worship team in the past. And recently I was thinking, man, I'd really love to do that again. But I just looked at my priority list and I was like, you know what? It doesn't fit. I just don't have any space for anything else. And if there are other things in your life that you love to do, maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's, I don't know, bowling, whatever, okay? You may have to cut that out of your life for a little while in order for you to be able to focus on your coaching. And it's just like going to school, right? If you started going to school full time, would you adjust other commitments that you had in your life? Would you adjust other things that you were doing if you were used to, going out with friends 3 times a week and then you started going to school? You would probably not go out with friends 3 times a week anymore, right? Because you have school now. So it's the same with Beachbody business. It's the same where you need to make sure that you're not focusing on like 20 things in your life, maybe 5 tops. Maybe for me, it's God, my husband, my kids, Beachbody coaching, and my small group. That's all I have time for, and even that is a lot. So you've got to make sure that you're prioritizing, and here's why. No one else is going to fight for your family but you. No one else is going to fight for your family but you. So yeah, it's nice if you want to bake for your church's bake sale, but that's not going to fight for your family. That's not fighting for your family. That's not building freedom for your family. That's helping out the bake sale, which that's so nice, totally nice. But at the end of the day, is that going to provide for your family? Is that going to provide the life that you want for them? And I'm one of those people that if you're a Pearl personality, if you're in the GEM test, I'm one of those people that I just have a hard time saying no to other things. I have a hard time, saying no to anybody or anyone. And a friend of mine wanted me to like watch her kids for her and do all these things. And I wanted to help her out so badly. But I just knew I have to fight for my family. I can't put someone else's family or someone else's agenda above my own family, because honestly, at the end of the day, if we're drowning, there's no way I can ever help anybody else then. So I can help someone else now and let my family drown and then not be able to help them and in the end not help anyone. Or I can put my family first, fight for them, and then work for the freedom to be able to help as many people as I want. But there is a part where you need to sow the seeds, and sowing the seeds takes sacrifice and focus and leaving things out. And when you do that, you're not going to feel like this is too much. You're going to have your priorities in the proper place. Things are going to fall into place for you. The third reason why you might feel like this is too much, and this goes hand in hand with trying to do too much, is overthinking. Again, that whole alien example, right, is overthinking everything. I try to run my business in such a way that I don't have to think much at all. At least not on things that I do all the time. So the 3 things that I have in place to help me do that are scripts, links, and blog posts. So scripts, I have scripts for almost everything. If I'm sending out an invite, I have a script. If somebody says I want to sign up as a discount coach, I have a script. It explains exactly how to do it. It has the link. It has all the stuff, right? Because a lot of times I'm running my business on the go. And I don't know if you guys might not all know my story. I have 4 kids. They're ages 6, 4, 2, and 3 months old. And I run my business a lot on the go. And I usually, when somebody writes me, I want to write them back like a really heartfelt, personal message. Like if they're saying like, hey, I really want to join your group or whatever. Like I have questions I want to ask them. I want to get to know them. I want to make it just very meaningful for them. And it's hard when I've got like crazy little people running around all the time to really get that out and to really get my emotion out and to be clear and to actually make sense. So I have scripts for it. I have scripts that I've written out in a quiet time, in a quiet place, that says just so beautifully everything I want to say to this person. And in that crazy moment, I can copy and paste and move my business forward, and I'm not overthinking it. I've already thought it once. I don't have to think it again. And I do take tweaks and things like that, but if you don't have scripts and you're rewriting essentially the same stuff every single time you invite, every single time somebody asks you a question about something, every single time, you need to sign up a coach, if you're having to rethink every single time, it's exhausting and it's not sustainable. You want to build a business that you can scale, right? If you have big goals and big dreams and you want to be inviting and talking to and signing large numbers of people, how can you do that if you have to think and write every single person a unique thing when essentially you're saying mostly the same thing to everybody? So definitely get scripts. And I have scripts and I use a program called Trello. I won't get into that now, but it has an app on my phone and an app on the computer browser, and that has everything for me. It has all my scripts organized so I can find them quickly. I had it on notes on my phone, but I wasn't able to organize it as well as I would like. So I do Trello. It has all my links. If somebody wants a link to a program, I can access it so quickly. There's a coaching code app as well. Guys, these are simple tools that you download them once, you set it up once, and you are good to go. And really, it's just about working smarter so that you don't have to work harder. Trello. And then blog posts. Even if you're not going to be a blogger, like I was saying, you don't have to be a blogger. You may find over time that there are the same questions that come up to you over and over again, that if you're already writing the answer to somebody, you could probably just copy and paste that and turn it into a blog post. Even if you're not going to be blogging consistently, having it somewhere where you can just send a link is so helpful. Like if somebody says, hey, did you do the 21-day fix? What was your experience with it? I mean, come on. You could write like a book about it, right? And you want to send them pictures of your before and after and all this jazz. So just do it once. Throw it up on a blog. Send them the link. Have the link easily accessible. I have a little section in Trello that's just like 21-day fix stuff. I click on it and it's like my experience with 21-day fix, blog post, my transformation with 21-day fix, YouTube video, like all this stuff. And when somebody asks me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I did a blog about it. Click, copy, paste, done. And that just helps me to not feel like it's too much, because a quick copy and paste is totally doable, even when you have a 2-year-old rubbing hummus all over their face and you're nursing a baby at the same time. Like, you can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You just have to get these few things set up, get some scripts, get some links, and get some blog posts with basic information that you can get out to people in a very easy way. The fourth reason why you might feel like this is all too much is that you are putting too much stress on yourself, too much pressure on yourself. And this one is I'm especially passionate about, because I have been here so many times. My husband's a teacher. He works so hard, but we live in South Florida and it is crazy expensive. And, honestly, like a lot of times I do feel this pressure of like, it's do or die, Vanessa. You've got to make this work. You've got to be successful at this. You've got to find a way. I don't care what the obstacle. I will put food on the table for my kids. I will make sure that they have a good life. Like, that is such a motivation for me. And I'm thankful for it, because it makes me show up every single day, because it's not like, oh, it'd be nice if you could earn some extra income. It's like, no. Like, do or die. And that's a good motivation. But there are times when it can get so, like, such a heavy burden on your shoulders that you feel like it's too much, purely because of the stress of carrying that weight. And, here are some things that I tell myself when I get to that point. Vanessa, you're allowed to miss a goal. It's okay. The world will not end if you miss a goal. But you're not allowed to give up on that goal. So you can move the deadline, but you don't erase it. You don't ever erase that goal. You just move the deadline. And my team right now, we're pushing to be an elite team. And I've got a little chat going with all of my diamonds who are pushing with me to be an elite team. And, we're getting down to the wire. We're getting down to the end. And everybody's, feeling the pressure. And I told them, I said, guys, if we don't hit elite this year, we'll still be here. The world will go on. We will still be coaches. We will still love the job that we have and feel so blessed to do it. And we'll just keep moving on. And you know what? There is such a thing as 2017. We can go for it again in 2017. And, just taking that pressure off and just allowing yourself, maybe you are in a situation where it is kind of like you got to make it work, but at the same time, you cannot let that pressure drive you down into the ground. And another thing I tell myself is, Vanessa, you're allowed to make mistakes and you're allowed to lose focus, because that sometimes, right, you just lose a little focus. You aren't allowed to keep making the same mistakes and not learn from them. So when I make a mistake, when I I was in 2-star qualification and I literally lost it the very last day of the very last week of qualification over something that could have easily been prevented. That is $1,000 mistake, my friends, because that's what the 2-star bonus is. And, that hurt. But I told myself, you're allowed to make mistakes. You're just not allowed to make the same mistake. And you better believe that I check my downline like a hawk now. And I have learned from that mistake and I move forward and I'm a better coach because of it. And, that's just part of the business. That's just part of it. And if you let the stress and the pressure, get you crazy, you're going to feel like it's too much. And I always tell myself, work as if it's all up to me. But I pray and I trust as if it's all up to God. Because there are just some things I can control. I can control the controllable, but a whole lot of this business is not in my control, right? A whole lot of this business is other people choosing if they're going to join your challenge group or not, if they're going to join your team or not, if they're going to actually work once they've joined your team or not, if they're going to work every day once they joined your team or not. Like, there is just so much you cannot control. And so you've got to focus on controlling the controllables and leaving the rest aside. And every time that I take a deep breath and I take a step back and I say, the world is not going to end if I don't hit XYZ goal, then I don't feel like it's too much anymore. I feel like, okay, I can do this. It's just showing up, being my best, doing my invites, reading my personal development, moving forward, just keep rolling. But when it's like, make this goal or you're going to die, then you just want to dread showing up because you're like, I can't do this. It's too much. And it's like, no. Like my dad always says, he's always like, tranquilo, like don't worry about it. And that just helps me when I take the stress off and I realize what I'm actually doing. I'm like, this isn't too much. I can do this. And just one more thing about the stress part. I used to think that the success of my business rested on that one perfect post. And I'd write it and I'd rewrite it and I'd take a picture and I'd take a different picture and I'd do a filter and I'd do a different filter because this one post was going to make it. This one post was just going to it was good. And I posted it and nothing happened. Nobody commented on it and I didn't get any challenges from it. And I got all discouraged, like, oh my gosh, I can't do this and this is awful. And then I thought, well, it's going to be that one webinar. And I spent hours making that one webinar so great. And then it was that one blog post is just going to do it. And then it was that one coach is just going to be my rock star coach. And you know what? Success comes more from the volume of consistent hustling and effort. And I would rather see from my coaches, 50 okay posts than 2 really good posts. It's the accumulation of your consistent drops in the bucket than it is one big gush of water, right? So I learned this from Gary Vee. You just put out content after content after content after content because you don't know what's going to hit people. You don't know what they're actually going to see. You've just got to, right now I am in this mode of saturate your market, Vanessa. Saturate it with videos and blogs and posts and anything and everything. Just go. Just let it go. Don't worry about if it's perfect. Just put it out there. Put it from the heart. Let it be raw. Let it be real. Just go. Because that is going to make a bigger impact than me sitting around on this one post, because it's about volume, right? If you're in a room full of loud people and this one little tiny girl says the most amazing comment ever, but it's like that girl on Pitch Perfect, she nobody can ever hear what she says. Good for her. She said this great thing, but she said it once and she said it so quietly that nobody even heard it. Whereas, you know, the loudmouth who maybe like half the stuff he says is like ridiculous, but you leave that party and who do you remember? Who actually made it, who actually got through the noise? You've got to get through the noise to have your message heard, and you've got to do that by constantly going. And when you do that, it takes the pressure off. And it's not like this one thing has to be perfect because that's the only chance I get. Like, that's the beauty of social media, right? There's no limit on Facebook of how many times you can post a day. I hope you might not have known that, but you know, you can actually post like literally as many times as you want. And it's the volume that does more than the actual, like, it being the perfect thing. And there was this little comment, again, I posted this to my team, but in the Dynasty Surge, I don't know if you guys were on the Dynasty Surge, it was fantastic. There was this one little comment that Lindsay Matway made. It was just in the chat. It was like a throwaway thing. She wasn't even talking. She just like typed it up. It was just kind of like floating past in the comments. She said, you can say all the wrong things to the right person and they're in. And you could say all the right things to the wrong person and they're out. At the end of the day, if somebody gets it, they get it. And it almost has very little to do with what you actually say. I mean, you do need to say something, and you need to say it with passion and conviction, and you know, you should know what you're about as a coach and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you could say all the right things. And if it's not the right person, they're out. And you could fumble over your words and like not even make sense. But if they're called to this, if they feel like that, they want to be a part of this community, they need this, they're in. And it just takes all the pressure off. You're not going to feel like this is too much because it's just like, just share, just go, just flow. Don't overthink it. Just pour your heart out. People are going to be attracted to you or they're not. And if they're not, you don't want them on your team anyways. They're just not your people, and that's fine. They can find their own people. But you want to find your people, you just got to keep letting it out. Keep going. And I feel like the combination of all of these things, the combination of having that vision, like we talked about at the beginning, and realizing what this opportunity is. This is not a hobby. This is not like an optional thing. This is not like, well, if I feel like it today, I'll work my Beachbody business. Like, are you an entrepreneur or are you an entrepreneur? Are you here to like build a business? Do you actually want to get paid? Do you actually want this to be your full-time income? You got to work. If you have that vision, then this is no big deal. Sitting around in your yoga pants for an hour to listen to a call, sending out 3 invites on freaking Facebook. Like, that is no big deal. If you're an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. You're here to work. You're here to build your business. You're here to get an income for your family. And if that's your vision, then no, this is not too much. And if you are doing too much, then you just got to prioritize. Just sit down and be like, what for real do I really need to be doing? Like, do you have a list? Do you have a to-do list? Do you know what the most important thing on that to-do list is? Done. Do it and go. Get your scripts. Don't overthink it. Get your scripts, get your links, get your blog posts. If you got a longer description of something that you want to just send out quickly, like, get smart about it. Set it up once and you're set. Like, guys, these links and scripts, I think I wrote them like a year and a half ago and I haven't had to rewrite them since. Do you know how much time that has saved over a year and a half of me not having to rewrite on all that stuff? Like, people always ask me, how do you do it with 4 kids? That's how I do it with 4 kids. I just write it once. And then over a year and a half, I've saved all that time. I don't have to write it ever again. Like, just save it. And then take the pressure off. Just go. Just run. People are going to follow you if they're going to follow you. But just run and know where you're running and go with your heart. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope that this was helpful. Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions if you guys have any. Stacy asked here, if you guys want to unmute yourselves now, feel free to. Actually, I'm going to stop the recording just out of respect for your questions.